It was a high-speed test with some disputed, though fascinating points. This week, we're uncovering how a big steel plate may have, but probably didn't, set an accidental milestone for humanity. Between May and October of 1957, the U.S. government conducted 29 nuclear tests 65 miles north of Las Vegas, codenamed Operation Plumb Bob. Many details were kept classified for decades, though others had the public invited out to watch, with newsreels capturing many of the tests. A few of these involved underground detonation, demonstrating the ripple effects of such forces above and below the surface. Nuclear weapons scientist Dr. Robert Brownlee designed this series, named Pascal. That July, the first one went off down a 500-foot shaft, but the yield was said to have been 50,000 times greater than expected. Dr. Brownlee described the fiery column, hundreds of feet tall, as, quote, the world's finest Roman candle. The second one went off a month later, except this time with a 2,000-pound steel plate welded to the top of the shaft. While no footage of this test exists, a 1,000 frames per second camera reportedly captured the plate zooming by the top of the very first frame, never to be seen again. It's said that a back-of-the-envelope calculation clocked that iron plug at 6 times the escape velocity of Earth, or about 41 miles per second. That's literally a New York minute if you start from L.A. More importantly, that was very much a vertical launch, not horizontal, and all other things being equal, that lid may have become the very first man-made object in space, beating Sputnik by 38 days. And now comes the part of the show where Dan ruins the fun. Just like satellites and meteors burn up from friction when entering Earth's atmosphere, the iron cap may have disintegrated on its way out. In fact, Brownlee himself wrote in 2002, quote, I am also vilified for being so stupid as not to understand masses and aerodynamics, etc., and border on being a criminal for making such a claim. His 6 times escape velocity quote came from recounting a somewhat exasperating dialogue with his superior, adding, my calculations are irrelevant on the point of how fast the cap may have been going. However, in a 2016 interview, Brownlee appeared to reverse course, stating that after he left the business, he, quote, realized that piece of iron didn't have time to burn all the way up. The Kármán line is the generally accepted place where Earth ends and space begins, some 62 miles up, meaning that cap would have had less than 2 seconds to break apart in the atmosphere. Wherever the truth lies, the official record still stands, with Sputnik being the first man-made object in space, with the United States' Explorer 1 being the third. Funny enough, just last year, the Parker Solar Probe would have bested the iron cap's speed record anyway, with a 430,000-mile-an-hour jaunt around the sun, or from New York back to LA in 23 seconds. Anything but the metric system, I guess. Still, it's thought-provoking to picture that hunk of metal still sailing through the cosmos, perhaps now some 5.5 light days from home. For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Dan Smith.